Hey everybody, it's CVH here with yet another installment in our Budget-ify series where we take an established deck in mostly optimal form that sees a good amount of play on the ladder, and we Budget-ify it by taking every single legendary and epic card out of it, replacing them with easy to craft commons and rares. So today, as you can see, we'll be looking at Midrange Archer. Now this is the Turquoise Lynx version of Archer that I actually played in my most recent gameplay video. Be sure to check that out. Played a few games with this deck at Legend, performed pretty well. So today we'll be trying to Budget-ify this version of the deck and make it completely budget friendly, free to play friendly, all that good stuff. And our goal, of course, is to learn how to replace cards correctly for all of you out there who are just building up your collection and give you some viable options for the ladder while retaining the core of the deck, maintaining the general strategy, and then playing a couple games or so casual and seeing how it goes while talking about if the choices have been working. So this, like I said in the gameplay video, is one of the oldest, most popular decks in the game. Midrange Archer used to be incredibly powerful, still sees a lot of play to this day, much like Aggro Battle Mage has been popular for a long time. This is a pretty generic, popular version of the deck, so it's a good version to look at when we're trying to Budget-ify it. It's not going to be the easiest task, however, like the other two decks, or, more easy compared to this, but we have quite a few epics and legendaries that we have to immediately cut in this version. So for starters, we have Ungolem the Listener, pretty unique card as a unique legendary. It's gotta go, it's a legendary. We're just gonna get rid of all the stuff first because there's like 19 cards we have to get rid of in this version of the deck. So, we lose Earthbone Spinner, one of the most powerful silences in the game. Unfortunately, Murkwater Shaman, yet another way to get those curse effects to our hand. This deck has a lot of ways to take advantage of them. The Goblin Skulk into the curse, you have the Murkwater Shamans, a lot of ping effects like the Rapid Shots and the Skaven Pyromancers for the finish off Leaf Lurker kind of stuff. But yeah, the Murkwater Shamans now have to go, but it's okay, we have good replacements for those. Reeve Blade Master has to go, yet another really powerful mid-game card, along with 3 Blood Dragons. This is probably one of the toughest things to lose for this deck. Yeah, 5/7 for 5 is pretty ridiculous, guys, but it's gotta go, it's a legendary. 3 Leaf Flickers, now we can pretty easily assume they're gonna be replaced with more removal, as should the Elena Banach. And 3 Belligerent Giants, this is another one that's kind of sucks to lose because it's a threat and its removal all in one, really powerful card. And the final piece is the Tazcad, which unfortunately we can no longer reduce to 7 with our Thieves Guild recruits on turn 2. So, where do we start with the replacements? So let's start with some of the more obvious stuff. We lost Leaf Lurker, and Leaf Lurker was played as 3 of with the 1-of finish off, so we can start by maxing out the finish offs to make sure we get the value that we want out of the curses, the Rapid Shots, the Skaven Pyromancers, the stuff that retains its place in the deck. So 3 finish off to sort of make up for that. And if we're lacking removal, thanks to the fact that Leaf Lurker and Belligerent Giant are no longer in the deck, the replacement I think we could use is Territorial Viper, so I'll be sticking in 2 copies of Territorial Viper. In addition, we did lose some mostly like the threatening cards, and I think I'm going to get to this next one later, but to replace the sort of the Reeve Blade Master and the Murkwater Shaman part of the deck, we could use another powerful 4-drop, and one is right in front of us, the Deshaan Avenger. Deshaan Avenger is incredibly sticky. If I'm going to link, I linked a Turquoise Lynx build actually in the description of the gameplay video, check that out if you want, but he actually recommends Deshaan for budget players, so that's exactly what we're going to go with. Very sticky, hard to remove card for decks like Control Mage. Yeah, you can Ice Storm it or Lightning Bolt it, but it's just going to come right back out as a 3/3 and continue hitting your opponent or taking trades. And we have another good 4-drop right in front of us as well, which I think we should use because we have so many effects like the Curse, Skaven, Rapid Shot, all that good stuff that we can then use with finish off. The Green Pact Stalker. So a 4-drop 3/4 guard, which gains +2/+2 if there's a wounded enemy creature in this lane. So yeah, I haven't really played with this card too much before, but it seems like a natural inclusion in this list if we have the means to proc its effect pretty consistently, which I think we do. And of course, if you're a budget player playing at the lower end of the ladder, a lot of people do stick to aggro at those ranks. So in addition to all of our efficient removal, we now have a pretty beefy early guard that can come out and sort of act as the green hive defender. So I like that quite a bit. Now here comes a little bit of the hardest cards to replace in the list. We lost a lot of our late game sort of oomph, right? We lost the Belligerent Giant, we lost the Reeve, we lost the Blood Dragons. These are just really powerful threats. Midrange, it's an aggressive deck that really wants to maximize its threat output for like turns 4 through 7. And we sort of fixed the 4-drop slot, right? We've even kind of made it better in my opinion. But there's a lot of really expensive stuff to be playing at these later drops, and I don't want to play Highland Lurcher. Like, even Wild Beast Collar, this is an epic, guys. So many epics and legendaries. I'm sure you might have access to a few, but for the purpose of this video, since we're just using commons and rares, I'm going to take it old school, and we're going to add to the board the way we used to have to add to the board with Soul Rest Marshal, a 4/4 that can spit out another thing from our hand, so hopefully we can Soul Rest into Cliff Racer, Soul Rest into Jarl, even Soul Resting into a 4-drop on turn 6 can add to the board so much that our opponent's not going to be able to come back. Pretty good card still at 6, I would say. And for our 7-drop, we get to play a really cool card. We get to take out the Belligerent Giants, which we had, in favor of Savage Ogre. So this is going to sort of act as potentially removal and burst for us. It has pretty good stats, doesn't get lightning bolted right away, and 5 extra burst is going to make up, I think, hopefully, for the fact that we lost Tazcad, while allowing our tiny guys like the Fighters Guild Recruit, Daring Cutpurse, or whatever we need to take favorable trades with the big guard or whatever. So yeah, Savage Ogre seems pretty good. I'm actually going to make a 3rd premium one right now so it doesn't make me lose my mind while playing this deck. So yeah, Savage Ogre seems pretty solid for the deck, and as we can see, we still have 3 more slots to fill, and with the way the replacements have gone so far, I could have talked about this earlier, because we kind of went up the curve here, but with the way the replacements have gone, the deck has gotten a lot more agility friendly. I don't know if you can... Alright, so 15 red, 32 green, and I think that makes Nimble Ally a pretty reasonable card here. We sort of lower the curve somewhat by doing this. But like I said, there's less things we can play on turns like 5 and 6 that aren't epic and legendary. If you look through them by rarity, you'll see there's a ton of stuff that's just really expensive, which makes Midrange Archer kind of daunting to craft, but I think we can sort of lower the curve using Nimble Ally as basically our most powerful on-curve 3-drop now, since we have so much green, so likely to hit it, and the other cards are like sort of situational. So yeah, I think this is what we're going to go with, and we're going to play a couple games casual and see if it maintains its playability. And since I prepared for this video, the deck list is right here. So yeah, we retain the sort of general idea of a mid-range deck. We have a pretty powerful early game, even more so I would say. We didn't have to lose much except for Ungolem in the early game. We have the Nimble Ally now on turn 3, which can proc more consistently. We still have a little bit of late game beef. I think the Deshaun Avenger and the Green Pack Stalker being bigger than our previous 4-drops sort of makes up for the fact that we lost a little bit of basically Blood Dragon, Belligerent Giant. Savage Ogre seems pretty surprising. If you're playing on the ladder, people probably aren't going to be able to play around Savage Ogre's burst potential too often. Gives us another thing that's really, really good to reduce off the Thieves Guild Recruit as well. We still maintain our Goblin Skulks and our Curses, which are really good against other aggressive decks. So basically the same thing as Link said when he was talking about the deck. It's a really proactive deck that, if it happens to lose the board, has a lot of tools to get it back. And our casual opponent is starting off with an Ungolem. Not a great sign. Nah, it's fine. Alright, so I think we want to ring out this Goblin Skulk, and I think we can just do it in the right. More than likely. In case he has a curse effect in his hand, we still get our Skulk's effect. Now, important, next turn, I have made this mistake before, just to maximize our chance of proccing Nimble Ally, we'd want to play the Nimble Ally before we attack with Skulk. Alright, so it's not an option, but we would be reducing the amount of green cards in our deck by 1, so it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to do it the other way. I think let's try to take over this lane. We could just use the Fighters Guild now and retain our ring charges. A little bit less crucial in this version of the deck, since we lost some of our late game, but I think we're still going to do it. It's fine. If we draw a Soul Rest Marshal or Jarl and we get ahead on life, we really want to be able to play them as early as possible to make them as good as possible. Soul Rest that used to cost 5 after all. Ungolem can't do anything to Fighters Guild Recruit, so we can play one of our larger things in the right and try to make sure we can kill the Goblin Skulk. Nimble Ally has the potential to be a 4/4, which is nice and everything, but he is going into Lightning Bolt turn, so I think we probably just ring out the Deshaun to give ourselves the highest chance of killing the Skulk. Seems like a pretty important card to kill.
I do love a good fight.
I missed that card. That was actually when I first built Archer. I didn't build like a totally budget version, like with no epics or legendaries, but when I first was playing Archer way back in August 2016 when I first started, the Deshaun Avenger was a 2 or 3 of in my build, and it was very, very good at that time. Card hasn't gotten worse at all. Just that, you know, new cards have come to light, new strategies. Shrieking Harpy's pretty good for him here. Does he search for a curse? This could be an Altar of Despair deck, which would be a pretty interesting thing to queue into. Could also be Swindlers, which is more likely, I think. I can totally see testing out Swindlers in casual, because that's a hard deck to play, man. Take it from me. Yeah, and we did draw a curse. A little bit sad, because it would be nice to get him for free off the Skulks. Not quite the case. But we can ring out the Cliff Racer, take a favorable on the 2-2 while cursing the 2-1, and we really have the board after that, so I think it's fine. Don't know how many good finish-off targets we're going to get, but since we only have the finish-off, not the Leaf Lurker or the Belligerent Giant anymore, well, we have the Territorial Viper too. But if he sticks like a Lilendril Hexmage in the Shadow Lane, I'll keep the ping, or I'll keep the finish-off for if we draw another various ping. Losing the curse isn't so bad, we have a lot of effects that kind of mimic it, as far as dealing a damage to something. Yeah, this is a really cool deck, because like on the surface it's pretty simple. You're just playing threatening stuff and hitting your opponent, but it can also play a pretty effective defensive game. With a lot of cool combos you can pull off, as you might have seen in the gameplay video when I was playing it on the ladder. But I think we want all the damage we can possibly get. We take it. Do we play the Nimble Ally on the left or the right? This lane could use some support. It's very easy to curse that down, and then we don't have anything in the field lane to contest. Alright, well, I was gonna say, if this game goes long, it might be the only game in the video, but clearly it did not go long. So let's play another one while we continue to talk about some of the card choices. See how it goes. Ooh, getting that gold. Yeah, these like I said in the last couple Budget-ify videos, these decks are perfectly capable of getting your quests done. They should be perfectly capable of going up the ladder. I wouldn't be surprised to hear anyone say they hit Legend with them, of course. A lot of it's going to come down to how familiar you become with them. Since I've been playing the optimized version of these decks for like the better part of a year, I kind of have an advantage. But you know, they're good decks to learn the game. They should at least up to like, you know, rank 5 at the very least, the lower rank specifically. They should be giving you a good grind up the ladder. Now we don't have the ring, so we can't ring out a Cutpurse then play a Thieves Guild. Thieves Guild's still a good card, fills out the curve somewhat if we don't get a 3. Want to ship that, might need it later, but just in case. Maybe we can still reduce Savage Ogre with Thieves Guild sometime in this video. That would be nice. Leave a comment if you play this deck and you get to do that. Tell me how it feels. I don't think I've done it before. Maroon Defender, interesting. So Cutpurse in the right because we want to hit his face with it. Pretty simple. I don't know how scared I should be of this Defender. Not too scared, I don't think.
The watch is mine.
That's pretty annoying. You have to wonder if he's going to ring out a Ring of Imaginary Might next turn. I don't think I can allow that to happen in the right. I don't think I can. I think I have to finish that off. Yeah. That's the pre-Ring of Imaginary Might emote, man. And if he rings over here, we just need to draw another ping plus finish off or a Territorial Viper. Unfortunately, losing Earthbone Spinner kind of hurts. It would have been nice to include another Silence, but I really don't like Bone Bow. Wow. That's quite the edict. That's a hell of a commitment, guys. Alright, well, worst case, we can Cliff Racer that down next turn if we really want to, but I'm just going to Deshaun in the right, try to hit face, activate our Jarls, activate any Soul Rest Marshals we happen to draw. That is a hell of an edict, man.
Who goes there? I live to serve.
A lot of guards in this version. What if he plays Watch Commander next turn? Then I really want to Cliff Racer down that 1-4. And it doesn't even take an even trade with everything on the board, right? It should be fine.
Dance with death.
Yeah, there's actually no way to navigate this turn, I don't think, to where we don't get wrecked by a Golden Saint with the ring. But we don't get totally wrecked by it. We can clear the entire Saint, but yeah, I think we're just going to kill the 1-4. I think it's slightly better value, even though we take slightly more damage. If we kill the 2-2, and then he has Divine Fervor, for example, the 1-4 turns into a 2-5 and survives trading with the Cliff Racer. If he Divine Fervor is here, it's an even trade. That's just one thing to consider. Divine Fervor is not uncommon in Spell Sword decks that flood the board, obviously. That's sort of the deck it's built for. Or the deck that's built for it, whatever you want to call it. Frenzy Witchman, wow. It's buffing itself, making a 4-4. I'm okay with that, because we still get our Cliff Racer to survive. I don't know if I like it, if I'm in his shoes. Can't Jarl this turn. We can Thieves Guild this turn. And I like it. Oh, that's nice. We did it. Never mind. You don't need to tell me how it feels because we're about to find out this game. So, I mean, we can Morkel Gatekeeper and power up the 3-1 and hit a little bit. Is it good? Is it good? We give him a card. If we Morkel Gatekeeper itself, he's just going to trade the 2-2 in for value instead of using that. But it does guarantee that he has to trade the 2-2 and he can't use that instead, which I like. I think I like that. I think I don't like breaking the rune here either.
Come dance with death.
Close ranks. Let nothing through.
I could power something else up, obviously, but then he just trades favorably, and that's annoying. Reducing one of these Savage Ogres actually introduces the interesting idea of if we get to 12 and we just haven't played any yet, we can double Savage Ogre something for a plus 10 attack, which is nuts. Unlikely, but nuts. If it were to happen. But I mean, yeah, obviously the Ogre can be used to help this trade with something. Totally fine. This is pretty annoying here. But we have a lot of things to deal exactly 1 damage. That's what we wanted to have happen.
Your death is my command.
I guess it makes sense too, because it's not guaranteed that I can kill that this turn, but I totally can. And I think I play this over here to just deal with that, save the Cliff Racer. I'm already going to Savage Ogre the Thieves Guild up.
If I fall,
If he has Execute, it's a little bit annoying. But we are way ahead in cards with double Jarl in our hand and a healthy amount of life to work with. And another Cliff Racer. So yeah, let's use the one that costs more since we have the Magicka to use it. And we have that... I mean, it's just Shadow Lane. We don't really care too much. We can't dictate the trades over there, so let's just do that, do that, do that. Swing. Wanted to get the trade in before we start attacking. And I do want to start attacking this turn. If this was like a control deck, maybe that 4 damage wouldn't be worth it, but I think it is worth it. We have so much reach. The old turn 10 Cliff Racer Savage Ogre. That's not something you can do in the non-budget version. I'd be lying if I said I never played Savage Ogre at Legends. Because I was like, hey, you know, this card is a lot of damage. As a turn, that's a detain, by the way. Alright, so let's see. Do we want to play Cliff Racer Fighters Guild? We could Jarl in Fighters Guild, which is more Magicka efficient. We don't really need the cards, even. But I guess we'll do it. Let's smack first and see what happens. We can guard the Shadow Lane, I guess. Hello, Solarist, my old friend. I have come to smork with you again. Man, Solarist brings back some interesting memories.
Awaiting your command.
Card used to cost 5 and reduce things by 6. Then it cost 5 and reduced things by 5, and it was still a little too good. Then it finally cost 6 and does what it does now. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We are one... Whoa, we have lethal with the Viper. 13, 14... Wait, no, we don't. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 19. Okay. Not crazy. So I don't know what the right play theoretically is. I guess we should take that trade. It's fine, since we can't actually kill our opponent. And what I really want to do here, just for old time's sake, is Solarist into Jarl one more time. I don't know when the next time I'll be able to do this will be, but it's happening this turn. We could discuss the right play for years, guys, but I just wanted to Solarist into Jarl. That was the play to end all plays, and you could ring out that play on turn 4 back in my day. Just not a thing anymore. But needless to say, I think we closed out this game pretty effectively. We have... This is 9 damage from my hand, so if 2 damage sticks, I win. Because it does also bypass the last turn. So yeah, I think this deck might actually be the strongest of the budget decks we've created so far. But, you know, it serves different purposes for those, you know, mid-range players. If you want to play something a little bit slower than Aggro Battle Mage, they definitely have... This is definitely going to be better against straight-up control decks. So if you're having a problem with those lower on the ladder, you need a budget deck that beats all these really expensive control decks. This is probably what I would recommend. We're doing this, man. This is sweet. That's a reduced Savage Ogre getting in there. So if you've enjoyed the Budget-ify mid-range archer, feel free to leave a like, feel free to comment your thoughts. Any other budget replacements, definitely join the conversation and let people know out there. Feel free to subscribe to the channel for more Budget-ify series, other strategy content, card analysis, all kinds of stuff. Feel free to follow the stream down below. I stream Legends daily there, so you'll be able to catch me live. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.